Here are some of the headlines we are featuring today from your favorite news outlets at offthepress.com. The third indictment of former President Donald Trump could be coming this week, now that he's revealed that he is a target of the January 6 Capitol riot investigation. This one, if it brings a conviction on insurrection charges, could block him from taking office again. Still, polls show Trump is as popular as ever. On the border, illegal crossings dropped a bit, but remain at historic levels. But maybe the Biden administration is playing numbers games, because they let 500,000 migrants in under a new parole program. After 30 years, Las Vegas police are zeroing in on a suspect they believe might have been involved in the shooting death of rapper Tupac Shakur. And country star Jason Aldean has done it again. He's making liberals nuts with his latest song about real America. Try that in a small town. For stories like these and more updates all day long from your favorite news outlets, go to offthepress.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. IRS whistleblowers today in Congress unleashed on the Department of Justice. They unleashed on U.S. attorneys. They unleashed on anyone overseeing the investigation into Hunter Biden and his taxes and the Joe Biden influence peddling scheme. Joseph Ziegler was the guy I was really focused on. We had heard from Gary Shapley before, the other IRS whistleblower, but this Joseph Ziegler, Witness X, turns out, folks, he's a self-described gay Democrat, okay? What is his motivation for coming forward? He says his motivation is simply the rule of law, to make sure that when we have investigations, that it is not partisan in nature, that people are not being protected just because of who they're connected to, like being the son of a president. I don't normally do this, but this is an exchange between James Comer, the leader of the Oversight Committee, and Joseph Ziegler, spelling out the money-changing hands because of the entire hearing. This is really what it's all about. So it's longer, but I'm going to play it for you.
I'm going to discuss with you specific payments made to Hunter Biden and the Biden family. Democrats and the left-wing media are also saying there's no evidence. But let's get into the evidence, Mr. Ziegler. I want to direct you to pages 99 and 100 of your transcript. How much money did Hunter Biden and his associates receive from the Romanian company you identified?
So that amount would be from Romania. So the approximate total transfers from the Romania company would have been $3.1 million to everyone.
$3.1 million. How much did Hunter Biden and his business associates receive from State Energy HK Limited through the Robinson Walker LLC?
So total transfers from State Energy HK to Rob Walker was $3 million.
$3 million. Was there a $100,000 payment from CEFC Infrastructure to Owasco PC, Hunter Biden's professional corporation?
Yes, Chairman.
Approximately how much was transferred to Hunter Biden and his business associates through Hudson West 3?
So the total transfers from Hudson West 3 to everyone was $3.7 million.
$3.7 million. How much money did Hunter Biden and his business associates receive from the Ukrainian company Burisma?
Burisma paid to everyone involved $6.5 million.
$6.5 million. Burisma also paid Blue Star Strategies and a law firm hundreds of thousands of dollars, bringing the total Burisma payments to over $7 million. Is that correct?
That is correct, $7.3 million.
$7.3 million. Between 2014 and 2019, this brings the total amount of foreign income streams received to approximately $17 million, correct?
That is correct.
What was the purpose of analyzing money from foreign sources, and do you have documents to support your findings?
So for the purpose of documenting the foreign sources is as a part of a normal international tax investigation, we have to figure out where the money's coming from. You have to follow the money trail. And as a part of that process, we have to follow different transactions, identify different foreign entities that might be paying a person, and then we go and get those records.
Right. And hopefully you can provide that to the committee.
So yeah. Any records regarding those transactions, we
love evidence on this side of the aisle.
We love evidence on this side of the TV cameras as well. Evidence is everything. I play that for you because that totals $17 million from Romania, China, Ukraine, all going into Biden-controlled entities. Now, what is unique about this case is that the Department of Justice, if it was you or me, they would have been after us with a vengeance. But because it was Hunter Biden, they appeared to have covered it all up. We also learned that Hunter Biden owed $125,000 in back taxes. To me, that seems like a grotesquely low number when you're talking about $17 million coming through the companies. But this is Gary Shapley, another IRS whistleblower, talking about the Department of Justice's influence over this investigation. Cut 10.
The Justice Department allowed the president's political appointees to weigh in on whether to charge the president's son. After United States Attorney for D.C. Matthew Graves, appointed by President Biden, refused to bring charges in March 2022, I watched United States Attorney Weiss tell a room full of senior FBI and IRS senior leaders on October 7th, 2022, that he was not the deciding person on whether charges were filed. That was my red line.
A red line that had him cross into whistleblower status to make sure that the American people know exactly what's going on. We talk about a weaponized government. The Secret Service no longer protects the president. It looks to me like the Department of Justice is the protective entity of the president and his family now. Forget about the Secret Service. This was a bodyguard job by the Department of Justice. So the entire investigation gets shut down. They're not allowed to run search warrants because of, quote, optics, according to the whistleblowers. This was Ziegler on CBS aired shortly after the hearings.
Did you uncover evidence that President Biden financially benefited from his son's deals?
I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
Why is that?
Anytime we potentially wanted to go down the road of asking questions related to the president, that's going to take too much approvals. We can't ask those questions. And I mean, it created an environment that was very hard to deal with.
It's a politically sensitive case. Wouldn't it require additional approvals?
Yes, I do understand that aspect, but it would be like, well, let's think about it. Let's put that on the back burner.
When you are a rule of law guy, and hopefully you would be that when you're the Attorney General of the United States of America, you let the crimes take you where you may. You let the evidence take you where it may. But you see what happens with Democrats. They don't follow evidence when it relates to Joe Biden and other Democrats, but they make up evidence, literally concoct evidence when it comes to President Trump. Do you see the problems here? These hearings are very, very important. Shapley, again, confirmed what Ziegler just said was blocked all the way.
Was there other evidence in this investigation that you were denied access to?
Yes, there was.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
So one piece was the Hunter Biden laptop. There's a memorandum that I documented contemporaneously in my House Ways and Means Committee testimony that states what Assistant United States Attorney Leslie Wolf told us on that day. I think it was September 3rd of 2020, and that's that they had information from the laptop that they were not providing to the investigators.
Now, you have the laptop. You know it has a treasure trove of information on it, and you won't give it to IRS investigators, literally the agency that is tasked with investigating financial crimes. There's too many financial crimes on that laptop to count, at least according to the evidence that's there. Then, of course, the hearing did get chaotic, maybe even humorous. Leave it to Marjorie Taylor Greene for these moments. Humorous, I would say, unless, of course, you're Hunter Biden. Watch this.
evidence of Hunter Biden making sex tapes. Excuse me, this is my time. Making pornography.
Should we be displaying this, Mr. Chairman, in the committee?
The lady's time has expired and went 2.5 minutes over.
Look, we had it blocked out there because the picture was so bad of Hunter Biden. You hear the one person in the background saying, should we even be displaying this in the halls of Congress? Do you know how embarrassed you must be if you're the son of a president and they're debating whether you should be showing the picture in the halls of Congress? But let's be clear. Hunter Biden brought this all on himself. There's even issues of possible sex trafficking through all of this. They've got paid plane tickets for prostitutes. All of that would, to me, be a crime. Are investigators looking at any of those things? No. Hopefully the Republican-controlled Congress is. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. James Comer, head of the Oversight Committee, summing up what this is all about. Cut one.
Bank records so far show the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals and related companies. A lot of this money poured in while Joe Biden was vice president. Despite creating many companies after Vice President took office, the Biden family used associates companies to receive millions of dollars from foreign companies in China, Ukraine, and Romania. After foreign companies sent money to business associates companies, the Bidens then received incremental payments.
And yet they charge President Trump with crimes. And the Biden family skates. It's disgusting, really. Well, joining us now, again, second night in a row, Congresswoman from Colorado's 3rd District, Representative Lauren Boebert is back with us. Congresswoman, it's great to see you again. What did you make of today's hearing?
Well, it's really interesting how the Democrats still want to blame President Trump for everything. But what we learned today is that the Biden family has never created anything. They've never created any jobs. And the only thing that they've ever sold is their influence in Washington, D.C. And their grift is really strong against the American people. So we've seen in these hearings today bank records obtained by the committee that we've had for some weeks now show the Biden family and their business associates and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals and their related companies. But what these criminal investigator whistleblowers brought in is cooperating evidence saying that what we found is being confirmed, that Hunter received millions of dollars from China, Ukraine, and Romania. These IRS whistleblower testimonies confirmed Joe Biden was involved in the family's shady foreign business deals. In an interview recorded by the FBI and revealed by the whistleblowers, a Biden family associate admitted Joe Biden was the big guy and that he attended a meeting with CEFC officials. This is a Chinese company. The associate added Hunter would purposely have his father attend his business meetings. So we've been lied to this entire time. We've known the truth. But now it's time to start bringing in these people that have helped hide these lies. My colleague from Florida, Byron Donalds, laid it out very clearly. We need to be bringing in Leslie Wolf. We need to be bringing in Merrick Garland. We need to be bringing in Weiss and having them testify before the Oversight Committee and ask them why they interfered in this investigation. As you said, Grant, one of our whistleblowers, Mr. Shapley, his red line had to do with this interference in the investigation. And then we have Mr. Ziegler, who said that his red line was when they had a warrant to go and search a storage unit by Hunter Biden, something that is very basic. They had this warrant, and Leslie Wolf shut it down. And he said, absolutely not. You guys have already been slow walking this. This is my red line. It's time to speak up and actually get real justice.
You know, I've got to believe the media is reeling that this Ziegler witness describes himself as a gay Democrat, which would not be someone you would expect to be a whistleblower against the Biden crime family. But there he is. And I found them both to be very credible. Did you?
Absolutely. They defended their positions over and over again, their credibility. Unfortunately, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle tried to hinder their credibility and saying, sure, maybe you're credible, but you're here because Republicans are in the majority. So that discredits your credibility. It is absolutely shameful what they were doing. But just because someone is gay or votes Democrat doesn't mean they're a corrupt person and they can't have credibility. They were very nonpartisan witnesses, and everything that they did could not be defeated. They had their testimony locked down, and no one can contradict it. Throughout the hours that we spent in that hearing room today, no one could contradict, as hard as they tried, these criminal investigators' testimony, which is very, very telling. Even Shapley, saying when Weiss started going off the rails and changing his story and trying to accuse this IRS criminal investigator of not being truthful, he said, "That's my red line. I'm done. If you aren't going to be honest and lay out the facts, then I'm going to stand up and make sure that we have justice."
Lauren, last question for you, and I think this is an important one. I believe there's other men and women like Shapley and Ziegler and like the FBI whistleblowers that we've talked to on this program as well that have testified before Congress. I believe there's a lot of them. We saw the attempt to discredit them by those on the left in the hearing room today. We know inside the IRS and inside the FBI, they've been very critical and they persecute these whistleblowers. Is there anything you and your fellow Republicans in Congress can do to protect these whistleblowers so more can come forward?
Certainly, there are laws in place to protect these whistleblowers, and hearing the statements, their testimonies, their heartfelt testimonies about the retaliation that's already taken back. Shapley saying that he has supervisors that have not spoke to him since June. And he said that's absolutely not something that takes place. That is not common. They are a team. They work together. And just the retaliation that's already taken place. So certainly we are going to be looking into that and seeing what we can do. But we want more whistleblowers to come out. I mean, look, we have President Biden's politically appointed U.S. attorneys for D.C. and Central District of California refusing to support charges sought by the U.S. attorney in Delaware, which has now put Hunter Biden on the path to a sweetheart deal. And so surely there are other people who are involved in all of this that have more information to bring forward. The IRS whistleblowers, they were never allowed to review documents that the FBI had, the FD 1023s. And so certainly there are more people that have information regarding this case. And it was said today in committee, we don't care about Hunter Biden. What we care about is a president of the United States who has sold his influence and it seems very compromised for that position. And this is putting Americans at risk to be sold out to China, to Ukraine, and Romania and other places. So this is what we are after right now and looking into. But certainly we will do everything we can to protect these whistleblowers that are already protected by law.
Absolutely. Joe Biden should be the ultimate target in all of this. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, as always, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks so much.
All right. If these whistleblowers don't come forward, so if you're a federal agent and you know something is wrong inside your agency, I actually believe you're part of the problem. I know it takes bold people to come forward. I know it's risking your job, but you're working in service to this country. The best service for your country would be coming forward with information that can stop this from happening to anybody else. All right, coming up, folks, while we wait on justice to reach Hunter Biden, finally, will it happen? Joe Biden, too. Michigan Republicans are being targeted for alleged charges of election fraud, 16 of them. We'll talk about that next. Well, folks, the Attorney General in the state of Michigan is a partisan hack. She is following the lead of the Attorney General in the United States and, of course, that prosecutor Jack Smith who's going after President Trump. Dana Nessel has charged 16 Michigan Republicans, basically accusing them of, quote, acting as false electors, meaning they signed paperwork saying they were duly sworn electors and they were issuing their votes to President Trump. This was a play that many states, including Arizona and others, had played in an effort to try to get President Trump in. I believe their efforts were totally legal. It was about questioning whether the vote was legal or not. This is her. This is, a GOP former chair. Her name is Michonne Maddock, talking about what really happened. She is one of the people charged in all of this.
Well, it's not true. I mean, first of all, we were duly elected Trump 2020 electors. And so when our leadership says, hey, we need you to turn in documentation in case it's needed, and this is not unprecedented, this has happened many times in history, of course, we all listened and complied. Two of the electors couldn't be there, so they sent their alternates, and everybody showed up, and we signed the paperwork that was prepared and put in front of us.
You know, it did happen before. It actually happened in the state of Hawaii for John F. Kennedy Jr.'s race against Nixon. So here's what happened, not Jr., John F. Kennedy's race, not John F. Kennedy Jr. Kennedy was trying to deliver Hawaii. And he had alternate electors sign paperwork, 3 of them, to be delivered to Washington. It looked like he lost. But guess what? After a recount in Hawaii, it turns out he actually won. This had played out before. Politico reported on it. Wall Street Journal reported on it. They did the same thing in Hawaii back in 1960, I think it was, as they tried to do in many states in 2020. So why are they charging 16 Republicans for what appears to be a very lawful move? Why? Because they're persecuting conservatives. Why? Because they're going after anyone that dares question the Democrat establishment. This is Dana Nessel, the Attorney General, spelling out her case.
These defendants may have believed the now long debunked myths of vote tampering or ballot dumps. They may have felt compelled to follow the call to action from a president they held fealty to. They may have even genuinely believed that this was their patriotic duty. But none of those reasons or feelings provide legal justification to violate the law and upend our Constitution.
All right, so I don't agree with anything she has said right there, but I want to bring in an attorney from Michigan. In fact, he's a partner at the Coleman Legal Group in Lansing, Michigan. David Coleman is with us. David, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you, Grant. Thanks.
What do you make of the charges against these 16 Republicans and Dana Nessel's case against them?
Well, I think it's pretty weak. There's 2 parts to these charges, and anybody, if you're interested, can go online, get a copy of the complaint. You can see it for yourself. It spells out the charges against all 16. There are 8 counts, all felonies. If you total up the years, it's 85 years that they're facing. But there are 2 parts to this. It's not just, was there a fake or a false document that was prepared and signed by these folks? But the second part is every single one of these crimes, Grant says, they have to prove, AG Nessel has to prove there was a willful intent to injure or defraud. We call those specific intent crimes. So it's not just, oh, if you did the document, that's enough, and you don't have to prove anything else. You have to show also that they intended to defraud or injure someone. That's where they're going to have a lot of problems. And frankly, those clips you just showed from Ms. Nessel is her acknowledging that they thought otherwise, that they didn't think they were doing anything necessarily wrong. They were doing it like they did in Hawaii 60 years ago, just in case some challenges on the election and that sort of thing did pan out. Then there with the slate, the alternate slate would be available. So they're not, in my opinion, they're going to have a very hard time proving those crimes because every single one of them requires intent to defraud or injure.
All right, so it's interesting because you're correct. The Attorney General said, oh, this was all President Trump's fault. They were just following the lead of their illustrious leader who was taking them down a primrose path to some kind of crime. By her even going down that narrative, which every Democrat simply wants to destroy President Trump, you're saying she made the defense case for these 16 Republicans.
Yes, I think she's aiding the defense by saying that they had legitimate motives, that they really believed what they were doing was proper. Well, if that's true, why is she charging them? She should not be charging them because they had no intent to hurt anybody or to defraud anyone. And so I think these charges are weak, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to be attacked to the hilt. And there's going to be a lot of fighting coming up in the coming months over these cases.
All right, so let me ask you, though, about the legality of the move. So take the mindset of the people that are engaging in the activity out of it. Is the move legal? I mean, this same thing happened, I'm trying to think, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania. There may be in a couple other states. I don't know if Wisconsin did it or not, but there were a bunch of states where they made the same move, all of them feeling that they were well within their legal boundaries. Do you believe the move is legal in and of itself?
Well, I think that's a different question. It really doesn't impact the criminal cases. But that is an interesting point because there were 7 other states that did this, including Michigan. And they all felt that they had the authority to do it. You'll get different, you can ask 10 lawyers and you're going to get 10 different opinions on what is or isn't legal. But that's part of their problem is when you have such a widespread divergence of opinion, that makes it tough for an attorney general to prove these kinds of crimes. But what's interesting there too is there were 2 of the states, it was Pennsylvania and New Mexico, where they actually put a caveat in their slate that they put together, and they said this slate will only be used if President Trump is successful in his lawsuits or if the challenges are successful and the vote is changed. So they put those caveats in, and in those 2 states, both attorney generals in those states declined to prosecute anyone. I understand that I think in Arizona and maybe one other state, there are investigations going on right now involving the electors that were put on the alternate slates in those states. But so far, Michigan's the only one where the attorney generals actually brought charges.
Well, Dana Nessel has a history of being radical and making radical moves, so it doesn't surprise me she was first on the list. David Kallman, it's great having you on the program. I appreciate your insight on this, especially being from Michigan. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And look, folks, I love the fact that he pointed out that the Attorney General made the defense for them by saying they didn't have any intent and they need intent. It's great to see their delusion on going after President Trump literally ruins their own cases. Good for us, though, isn't it? All right, folks, if you're a business owner and you did the tough thing during COVID, you paid your people, you pulled your business through the pandemic, now doing the tough thing could actually qualify you for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. I use them for my business. I'm waiting on my refund. It was super easy. Government funds are available to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. It's not a loan, and you don't have to pay the money back. The program is complicated. It is, I will tell you that, but they helped me through it. All the paperwork, they told me exactly what I needed, and it was easy to do, all right? They have the great CPAs and tax experts on staff. covidtaxrelief.org is where I want you to go. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits, churches, can qualify, including if you took a PPP loan, even if you had increases in sales. So again, $26,000 per employee. Let covidtaxrelief.org help get you that money, $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org. That's covidtaxrelief.org. All right, folks, coming up after the break, the moms out there, mama bears everywhere, moms of America, are fighting back against the government's agenda for their kids. 2 of those moms join me live next. You know, people ask me all the time, can an individual make a difference? I'm here to tell you, you don't need a TV show like this to make a difference. Individuals can make differences all the time, even in little ways, sometimes in big ways. You know, we talked about mama bears, right? We also talk about super moms. Dads are pretty good, too, when it comes to these school boards, when it came to the vaccinations, when it comes to critical race theory and all of this woke agenda playing out there. We saw scenes like this one cut to all across America.
Bible studies in classrooms? No, we're not, right? So why is this a certain agenda being pushed into the classrooms? Sexual orientation to her 3rd grade class. You guys want us to believe that this isn't a propaganda? That no agenda is being held? This wasn't just any sexuality class. This was specifically designed 3 days a week. She taught LGBTQ curriculum in her class.
We see this going on all the way across the country. It's not just in California. This is happening in Texas, where I broadcast from. In many, many schools, this woke agenda is being pushed on our kids. It is the indoctrination of children. In many respects, I call it the invasion of the mind snatchers. That's what they want. They want our kids' minds. Are your kids prepared? Here's another mom talking to the school board about pushing back against what they're doing.
Can we stick to reading, writing, arithmetic, science, history, gym, music, and art, just to name a few classes, without getting into all of the grand political issues of the day? This Rochester School Board entertains every single political issue before it assures that our students are well educated and safe.
They don't stick to the basics anymore, and I think the worst thing about schooling today is they don't teach critical thinking anymore. They teach critical race theory, far different from critical thinking, which is so important to get through life and have any success in the world. So I'm proud of all of those moms who go out there and speak up. I've got a great friend. She lives in New York. She was on the front lines. Jackie Toberoff. Here's her in action. Watch.
My body is not the state's body. My children are not the state's property. And they are trying to take away the rights of parents. And we do not consent. We do not give them. We do not consent.
Well, she and the other moms created an army of moms out there. And she saw how powerful that army really is. She wrote a book about them, featuring lots of moms in there. The name of that book is Super Moms Activated. Jacqueline Toberoff is our guest, as well as another mom in that book, the founder of Moms for America, Kimberly Fletcher, is here. Jackie, Kimberly, great to have you both on the program. Jackie, let me start with you. Was it hard to find moms to put in the book, or do you have to write another one?
I definitely have to write another one. It was not hard. I lucked out, though, with the 12 that I found.
And tell me about why you wrote the book.
So I knew that the Biden administration, as well as the teachers union, were going to look to revise and erase history, as they've already started to do. And so the book, Super Moms Activated, really focuses on 2020 to 2022. And it's the beginning of COVID and BLM ushering in CRT, and it goes all the way up to the primaries.
Yeah. It's a fascinating read. And I'm so proud of every mom in there, including you, Kimberly. I mean, you founded Moms for America. This is a very powerful organization now. Tell me about that journey and what it means to be one of the moms in this book.
Well, I'm honored to be in the book, quite honestly. I think that was that you're only picking 12. It's kind of cool to be one of the 12 that are being picked. I founded the organization in 2004 in the living room in Dayton, Ohio, because I had run for school board in 2003, and I started to see what was going on. I was very concerned about the direction our country was going. And because in 2001, my husband was stationed at the Pentagon, and he, through a series of miracles, came home safe that day. All of the things that I learned during that 3-year period from 2001 to 2004 is what led me to start the organization, because I realized that we needed moms to be aware of what was going on. And I just started sounding the alarm. What's happening in our schools, what's happening in our country. And I'll be honest, for the first couple of decades, they looked at me like a helicopter parent with a tinfoil hat. But we were able to put a lot of great programs together so that when 2020 hit and they realized everything I was saying really was true, we were ready to be able to help and support them with the programs and resources that we've been putting together for 20 years.
And that's the story of Supermom. So, Jackie, let me ask you, when I first got out of college, I went to work on Wall Street. I worked for AIG. One of the first books I read was a book called Market Wizards. It was like a textbook for how to trade. It was the greatest traders on earth, basically. Do you think this book could serve as a textbook, as a guide for moms venturing into this world of pushing back against the government?
100%. And I can tell you this, right now, America's largest teachers union is making summer reading requirements gender queer. Supermoms Activated is the panacea, and you better buy it before September because you have no idea what is coming.
What's the most surprising story you learned out of it?
Many of the mothers that are featured in this book were never politically activated prior to 2020. And the biggest misdirection play from the left was thinking that they owned these mothers and that they would just sit back and farm out their children. And I think the pivotal point wasn't the masks and it wasn't the vaccines. Mothers would have taken that. It was really the CRT. It was the dumbing down of schools. And we got a glimpse of this during the pandemic. We saw what was going on, or quite frankly, what was not going on.
Kimberly, for you and your organization, what's the biggest challenge? Is it recruiting moms? Is it hard to get them over their fear of stepping out and being bold and being vocal?
They need to know that they're not alone. So I would say, yes, the first thing they need to know is that you are not the crazy one. Everyone around you that that you think is telling you that you're crazy, they are the ones who are off their rocker, but they need to know that. But at the same time, they need to know how to respectfully be able to navigate this space. And say that's the most difficult thing, but I would say that that's one of the greatest challenges is once we reach these moms, helping them realize that fighting against something is short, it's frenzied, it'll wear you out, and you'll end up walking away and will lose. What we need is women who are going to stay engaged, parents, mothers who are going to stay in the front lines and make sure that they're protecting their children. And this crosses all barriers. And that's something that I think those who are trying to go after our children didn't realize, that when you start messing with a mother's children, you are raising an army of mamas who are not going to take that. So that's a great way to connect us together. So keeping them connected, keeping the steady fight instead of the constant, going after the angry solution. We talk about creating relationships, and moms are doing that. And we're seeing in many of the school boards where the school board members are coming out and actually thanking us for being there. Teachers are thanking us for being involved. And they're asking us what our opinion is on a topic when the discussion is still on the table, instead of ignoring us when the decision is made.
That shows you that it's working. And I know I will trigger the left when I make this comparison. But this fight is not going away. Just as I warn Islamic terror is never going away, it's generational, I believe the radical left's quest to steal our children's mind and indoctrinate them into this way of life and thinking is never going away. And in many respects, it's terrorism at play when you're messing with our children. Jackie, I will give you the last word if you can sum it up in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I would say buy this book. You have no idea what is coming in September. It's not going to be good. They are sexually exploiting children. They are hopping them up on racism. And you need to be aware it is coming this September to every school. No child will be left behind.
Now, if you don't call that terrorism, I don't know what is. It's our children that are at stake. I appreciate you writing the book. Jacqueline Toberoff, the book is Supermoms Activated, and it's a great read. I urge people to go get it. And, of course, Kimberly, I appreciate all the work you do for Moms for America and founding that great organization. Thank you to you both. All right, folks, coming up after the break here, the war on conservatives and President Trump will not be over anytime soon. President Trump is now speaking out about the latest news that there could be another looming indictment just days away. welcome back, folks. So CNBC comes out with the worst states to live in. Now, lo and behold, of the worst states to live in, guess what? Far left CNBC's 10 worst states are. They're all in, as Breitbart puts it, deep red states. Texas being the worst state to live in. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a Texan. I live here. It's the greatest state in the country. No offense to all you other states, but Texas is great. It is the land of freedom and opportunity, and I love this state. But so you want to know what's on the list of the worst states to live in? Florida was on the list. Now, Texas had a net population growth of 230,000. So people are moving to Texas. They clearly don't agree with CNBC. Florida had a net population growth of 319,000. So people are moving to Florida. They don't agree. Oklahoma was on the list, red. Alabama was on the list. Missouri was on the list. Indiana was on the list. Tennessee was on the list. Louisiana and Alabama. Now, all of those states. When I tell you deep red, I mean deep red. So what was the reasoning that CNBC would come up with this idea that the 10 worst states, all Republican-controlled states, by the way, are the worst? Well, I can tell you this. One of it is because of reproductive rights. They said that the states were not welcoming when it comes to reproductive rights. So they say that's a reason not to move there. Clearly, the numbers don't speak that. People are moving there in droves. Another reason, I'll tell you what they hate about these states, we're tough on immigration. I just saw this story out of Texas. Governor Abbott is actually ordering the state police to repeal the invasion at Eagle Pass. More work remains, the governor says, but clearly they are pushing people back. They are not taking it anymore. And that's exactly what more governors need to be doing. Now, with all of this going on, we know that President Trump is under attack. And I'm here to tell you that I think President Trump has never been in a better spot than he is today. I know it's stressful for him to go through all of these criminal cases, all of these civil cases. But all it's doing is pushing us further and further closer to the White House. The poll numbers continue to rise. The momentum continues to grow. The enthusiasm over his campaign continues to grow. So President Trump was on our friend Sean Hannity's program last night, and he talked about what he is up against. And you want to talk about a guy that is still hopeful, even in the face of all of this. Roll cut 4.
We're losing our country, and we're losing the spirit of our country. But I will tell you, Make America Great Again and MAGA and America First and all of these things that we talk about, there's never been more spirit. Look at this crowd. There's never been more spirit than we have right now. 2024.
All right, I'm going to talk to many of you that don't live in flyover nation like I do in Texas. Okay, there's many of you who are listening in New York and California and Maryland and watching from these states. To all of you that live in Nebraska and Iowa and Texas and those states, bear with me. For the people that live on the East and West Coast, I'm telling you, the patriotism in this country, I've never seen anything like it. I go around from small town to small town, Trump rally to Trump rally, and I see the absolute best America has to offer. I also see the resolve of the American people. There is no way the Democrats take this country from us. So President Trump is right, because what's the common theme in all of those little towns? It's a Make America Great Again spirit. The same exact spirit that had our founding fathers pushing back against a tyrannical England is the same spirit right now that will propel President Trump to the White House and, quite frankly, gives him the strength that he has. I've made this comparison before. The National Rifle Association is only strong because it's got 5 million engaged members. President Trump is strong because he's got 75 million and probably more engaged members of the Make America Great Again Army. He did talk about the DOJ. This is why we back him, because he's not intimidated. Cut 5.
We're leading by a lot, and we're leading by a lot in a place called Iowa, a lot. And not only with the Republicans, but we're leading against Biden by a tremendous amount. They haven't seen anything like it. And they feel, I guess, they want to try and demean and diminish and frighten people, but they don't frighten us because we're going to make America great again. That's all there is. We're going to make our country.
They don't frighten me. Do they frighten you? And I know they don't frighten President Trump. God bless that man. With his resolve and his strength, I'm telling you, we get America back on track thanks to all of you. Stinchfield's army in the house, right? All right, folks, we do have chaos. You still have to take steps to protect yourself. What I would like you to do is call my friends over at Birch Gold. Think about making precious metals part of your portfolio, a portfolio protection move, okay? It's about privacy. It's about security. Birch Gold can help you get the gold that you can hold. You put it in your gun safe, you bury it in your backyard, whatever you want to do with it. But it's an important move right now with the chaos, the inflation, the centralized digital currency, all of it. So here's what you do. Text America to the number 989898. America to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you. All right, folks, coming up after the break, a supplement on the market could be the answer to your eating habit woes. Does it work? Well, we'll ask the medical professionals next.
Here are some of the headlines we are featuring today from your favorite news outlets at offthepress.com. The third indictment of former President Donald Trump could be coming this week, now that he's revealed that he is a target of the January 6 Capitol riot investigation. This one, if it brings a conviction on insurrection charges, could block him from taking office again. Still, polls show Trump is as popular as ever. On the border, illegal crossings dropped a bit, but remain at historic levels. But maybe the Biden administration is playing numbers games, because they let 500,000 migrants in under a new parole program. After 30 years, Las Vegas police are zeroing in on a suspect they believe might have been involved in the shooting death of rapper Tupac Shakur. And country star Jason Aldean has done it again. He's making liberals nuts with his latest song about real America. Try that in a small town. For stories like these and more updates all day long from your favorite news outlets, go to offthepress.com.
So the nutraceutical industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry with products ranging from daily multivitamins to sleep aids to fruits and vegetable supplements you see on TV. Well, joining me live now is the leader of research and development at Field of Greens. You know I love these guys. Dr. Mike Kim is with us. Doctor, it's great to have you on. I want to ask you a question because I started taking Field of Greens, and I mean this when I tell my viewers. I feel more of a difference than I ever did than when I took vitamins. Why is it? I always felt like vitamins weren't working for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of. So what we did was we took this product and we wanted to get rid of the extracts, and we wanted to kind of get rid of the process involved with that. So what we did was we created a formula where if you look at the back of our product, it's actually not a supplement facts panel. It's actually a nutrition facts. So it's actually dried and desiccated fruits and vegetables that are put into this product. And I think what you're getting there is kind of a massive just bolus of micro and macronutrients into your current diet. And that's why a lot of people who take this feel very, very energized. And sometimes for some, it's a little too much. But a lot of the time, it's actually just enough for the energy that, I think so we're talking to other customers, and we talk to a lot, and we get a lot of feedback. And what we've done so far is I think we've eliminated a lot of the afternoon coffee, a lot of the afternoon kind of caffeine rushes that everyone's been looking for. And there's been a lot of people who've been taking this as their kind of natural energy boost in the middle of the afternoon.
So why does this separate itself from literally popping a pill, popping a multivitamin?
I mean, we take this and we wanted to make, one is that there's a lot of vitamins in this product. There's a lot of micronutrients. And what we did with this one is that we took a lot of concentrated and fruits and vegetables that are the whole fruits and vegetables, kind of broken them down, dehydrated them, broken them down, and put it in here. And so that's why I think most of the people are feeling that a lot quicker. And, the vitamins that they have out there, some of them are synthetically made. Some of them are derived from, I don't know where they're getting derived from, but this is actual fruits and vegetables that are broken down, and you get that natural source right out the gates there. And we actually like it when it's, go ahead.
Yeah, there's no way for me to eat as much fruits and vegetables as I'm supposed to be eating a day. So Field of Greens helps me get that done, right? Is it affecting everything in my body, or is it just a few things in my body?
That's a great question. I mean, a lot of people have asked us why we built the product that we did, and it's affecting a lot of different things in your body based on. And I think what we wanted to do was we wanted to make sure that there's something that's missing in everyone's diet, and kind of like you said, it's a little bit difficult to get all of your fruits and vegetables. So we wanted to make that simple, right? And then over time, as you start incorporating this healthy kind of living lifestyle, hopefully sleep gets better, hopefully exercise gets part of that, hopefully eating healthy overall becomes a process. So we want to be the starter to all of that.
It has been tremendous for me, and I mean it when I tell you. I have noticed such a huge difference, and I noticed it almost immediately. So Dr. Mike Kim with Field of Greens, I so appreciate you coming on. And folks, I want to remind all of you, fieldofgreens.com. Go there, fieldofgreens.com to get you started. We got you a discount. And, of course, fieldofgreens.com. You start the reoccurring orders, 15% discount for you. All right? So fieldofgreens.com. Go there and pay a visit. That's good for us.
From Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Lots to do on a busy Wednesday.